Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
The adolescence in a person's life could very well be considered as the most decisive and critical juncture of one's life. The choices and decisions you make during this course of time could very well decide the course of direction your life could head towards. UNICEF statistics say there are a staggering 340 million adolescents in South Asia alone, which speaks of 30% of the total adolescents in the world. Yet UNICEF says most of these adolescents are either voiceless or ignored. In the build-up to the Under-19 Cricket World Cup in New Zealand next year, the International Cricket Council and UNICEF have taken matters upon themselves to launch an initiative to inculcate the power of sports to shape the future of adolescents. And to talk about this critical juncture of life, we are joined by a very, very special guest exclusively here on News First. Well, he's one of India's finest cricketers. He's an explosive left-hander batsman, an energetic fielder. He has amassed close to 9,001 international runs with 14 centuries and 52 half centuries. Well, like I said, he's one of India's finest cricketers. We're joined by Yuvraj Singh. Yuvraj, thank you very much for joining us on the show. Yuvi, what inspired you to join this initiative launched by ICC and UNICEF?
Well, it's a huge honor to work with UNICEF, and ICC obviously has been partners with world cricket for so many years. Just the subject on, the young adolescent. I've been adolescent where I was finding my way to find my path, and I think it's a great way to send a message across to the world that we really need to focus on adolescent and in nurturing their future, in understanding and giving them the right path, and spread that message across the world that we are the people who are in a good position to do that. And our message will hold a lot of value.
Yuvraj, given the current context in society, the adolescent period, like we said, is the most critical juncture of one's life. And without the correct nurturing, it could stray away to the path of crime, addiction, poverty, and which most often not results in suicide. Yep. So what do you personally, as a cricketer, hope to achieve through this initiative?
See, I'm an example of sport, and sport can do a lot of good to adolescent. I think we, as I said, have the power to send the message across that sport can actually make a difference to your life. Sport, when you play sport, it can you can express, you feel, you connect out there. As an adolescent, you go through a lot of adversities in life, and it's very important that you get out there and you mix in a society which pushes you to excel. So I just feel sport can change a life for any adolescent. And that's why we're here today, that spread the message across. It's very important for adolescents to go out there and play any sport, whatever they love, and express themselves. And I think it's the most important thing is very healthy for the mind, for the system. And I think it's getting out of adversity. Whatever adversities we face, I've faced when I was growing up, I just feel it has the power to move you, to change you, and bring the best out of you.
See, the involvement of children in sports is quite a debatable point, because most parents, they suggest that sports is a waste of time. It harms your education activities. What's the message you want to give in those terms?
Well, I have a few sports academies back home, and every time a parent come and ask me that, do you think my child is wasting their time? I always try and explain it to them that it's very important for a child to study and to play as well. You cannot just study and just play. So I think it's very important that you strike a balance as a parent. Sometimes you have to let the child make their own mistakes and learn from them, but you always have to keep guiding a child until an adolescent matures. So I think parenting and teaching are a very important part of being an adolescent, and just to strike a balance in their life.
International cricket superstar Yuvraj Singh and the under-19 cricket future stars came together in Sri Lanka to showcase the power of sports to shape the future of adolescents in South Asia. Yuvraj Singh was joined by under-19 cricket stars from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan and Sri Lanka, who will compete in the International Cricket Council Under-19 Cricket World Cup in New Zealand in January 2018. A panel discussion was followed by a friendly game of cricket between Yuvraj Singh, under-19 cricket players and youth who attended the event. The panel and friendly cricket game was jointly organized by UNICEF South Asia and the International Cricket Council.
It takes sometimes a lot of courage, sometimes to listen to your kids. It takes courage sometimes to get them to see the world from their angles. And it also takes courage from a parent to listen. And I think for me, that was a turning point. I decided to listen more and bring, because that's the age when young is a transition from childhood to adulthood. And that age is age when young people are finding their identity. Who am I? How could I be different? It's an age of exploration. It's an age of innovation. And it's an age of dream. And I think it took me some time to understand the power that a young person has. And sometimes we don't listen enough, we don't hear enough. And I think today is a day of listening. Today is a day of hearing all of those dreams and all of those aspirations that each and every one of you have here in your mind.
Your father was both a cricketer and an actor, and you've obviously made it big in the field of cricket. So was there ever a time in your life you thought, where do I go? Cricketer, actor, cricketer, actor. So how did you make this important decision in your life?
Well, there was a time in my life where I don't know where I was going. I just loved playing sports. I just loved being outdoor, and cricket was something that I didn't really enjoy from a younger age. But my father saw the talent in me, and he kind of, channelized and forced me to play the game. And that's the reason why I'm sitting here talking to you guys. And I felt that as an adolescent, it was very important that I was guided through the right path of life and to focus my energy on something I can really be good at. So I think as a parent, as a teacher, these are the things that can really help you. I'm sure adolescent, when you're growing up, you don't really listen, but as you make your own mistakes, you get better, and you just try and get on the right path.
Now you brought glory to India on multiple occasions, starting in year 2000 when you represented India in the Under-19 World Cup against Sri Lanka, mind you. That really kick-started your life. Could you comment on this? How has it reflected in your life?
Well, it's one of my most amazing memories. Coming to Sri Lanka for the first time, playing India Under-19. Expressing myself. I was a young adolescent, and I was trying to find my way, whether I'm good enough to play for India. Under-19 India gave me the recognition. India won the World Cup. I was man of the series, and actually gave me recognition. It gave me a path to follow. Sport gave me a belief to understand that I can excel in it, and I think I continued on the path with definitely the teachings of my teachers and my parents, and I was able to make a career out of it.
Now Yuvraj, some might question, why sports? Why sports? You can always keep yourself occupied with with simple hobbies like collecting stamps, collecting spiders, running, flying a kite, or like being a photographer or something like that. But why sports?
Well, I'm not saying other things are not good. I just feel sport is a different aspect of you. When you go out there, express yourself, when you compete, and when you are fighting against the opposition, when you're playing at a different level, or you're trying to get to a different level, you know, it's a completely different side of you. You try and understand what you're all about, and it's a way of expressing yourself. It's a way of freedom, and it's a huge difference being in an office and going out there in the park. So I just feel it's a feel-good factor, and I think it's important for us guys to talk about it and motivate the young adolescent to go out there and play any sport.
Now, you spoke about this. You started your career when you were at under-19 level itself, and you made to the big leagues in big cricket. However, that's just a very few pickings. However, the rest who are not picked to the national side, they eventually get lost in the force of time, in the shadows of time. So how do we address that issue as well? What path can we sort of for them?
See, parents need to, or adolescent, as they grow, they need to understand everything they do, they're not going to make a career of it. But at least they're giving a chance to themselves to make something out of it. Whether you follow the path of sport or any path of life, you give yourself a direction by playing a certain sport. And, when you go out there, you compete and you meet different people, you learn a lot of things. You learn about, coming out of your adversities. You see different examples. I was very fortunate to meet some younger girls, and I heard about their stories. It's very inspiring. So I think I'm still learning from people, and it's all coming to me because of sport. All the inspiration in my life is coming because of sport, and that's the reason why I've been able to play for so many years and still compete.
At the age of 18, 19, when you represented India, did you ever think, you know what, I'm doing this to play for my country at the national level, or just going to do your best at that time?
Well, when I played for India the first time, before that I would just say that, God, I just want to play one game for India, because it's something that is a dream for a adolescent like me. And here I am, played for almost more than 15 years, more than 300 one-days. I played more than 400 games for India, so I've been very blessed. And the sole reason for it has been sport. I'm fortunate to make a career out of it, but at least it's given me the opportunity to go and express myself, to be free. So I just feel that's the more important reason. Yes, you will make careers out of it, but it's important to feel free and to be yourself.
Now, you said before, to those who don't get picked, to those who don't use their chance, or rather those who don't get the chance, what message can we give them? Like give them a pat on the back, it's going to be okay. What can we say to them?
No, I mean, once they've tasted sport, they understand the passion about it, they understand the feeling about it. Even if they don't make a career out of it, they might make a career out of something else, but they will always go back to sport. They might go to office, but in the evening they might go and play some kind of sport, which actually takes the stress out of just sitting there and working. I mean, it's just, once you get into the life of sport, you will always keep on playing till you can.
Now, people say nurturing children at very young age is quite important. And if you look at, for example, the Indian cricket team at the moment, most of them were very young players, including yourself. I mean, for example, Virat Kohli, Ravindra Jadeja, all of them were victorious at the Under-19 World Cup as well, and Virat Kohli has become quite an invincible player at the moment. So what is the plan? What plan could we come up with to generate the same amount of energy among all of the youth?
Well, I think they have to learn from these examples, the names you've taken. Under-19 is a big stage. I was speaking to a lot of cricketers over there. I mean, the guys must be feeling that, oh, this is the biggest, tournament of my life. But I think it's the life is just starting. You're just start to go there and express yourself. It's a big tournament. Go and play. Feel free, and don't feel afraid to fail, because until you won't fail, you won't understand what success is. And I'm sure they will, once they play in that tournament, they will realize how important it is, because the names that you've taken, they've played under-19 and they've been successful. Now they're very successful international players.
So that's a very important word, which you said, failing. See, most parents at home, like even if it comes an exam, anything, say, please don't fail me, please do not bring me down, please do not let us down. So what about this? How do we address this? How do we move away from this social norm?
Because we are made to feel that this is it. You know, this is your last exam, or this is the last moment in your life. We're made to feel like that. Parents or teachers need to make them feel like there's a test in your life, and there are going to be several tests. You know, as you grow, you're going to keep on having these kind of tests. Don't be afraid to fail. If you fail, I'm there for you, and I'm sure if you keep on trying, I'm sure you'll succeed. And when you succeed, you'll understand the taste of success.
Let's talk about when you debuted in international cricket in year 2000. The first ODI you played was against
Kenya.
Against Kenya, absolutely right, sorry. And you debuted alongside another great, Zahir Khan. And the captain at the time was Saurav Ganguly. And you played along other greats like Rahul Dravid, Sachin Tendulkar, and Anil Kumble. So how did you all process this massive, overwhelming feeling?
I think I was still adolescent that time. I was 18 years old, and I learned a lot from my seniors. I learned how they practice. I learned how they went about their life. I learned how they were such goodwill ambassadors of the country, and how they spoke to everybody with respect, and how humble they were. So I think these are things I could learn from them, and that's the path I've taken, because they were actually teachers in a certain way, because they showed us the way to approach sport and be competitive in life. But I think we all looked up to guys like Rahul, Sachin, Saurav, Kumble. They were seniors, VVS Lakshman, and you know, they were that generation, and we were the next generation. So I think the names that we've taken who become greats of Indian cricket is because they've learned from you know, their teachers in a way. They learned from their seniors and become the best players in the world.
Let's also talk about quite a life-changing experience for you in 2012, where you were diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, and which caused the entire sporting world by storm, and even more so when you recovered and came back to the cricketing field. So, what was the feeling inside you? Like, had you given up, or had you thought, you know what, I'm going to get through this and get back on the cricketing field?
Well, that was the actual time in life where I actually understood that I'm a human. You know, as a sportsman, sometimes you realize that, you know, nothing can happen to you. But that was a life-changing experience to understand I'm a human end of the day. And cancer is something which can happen to anyone. Yes, it was disappointing because I was at the peak of my career, and I had just tried to get a permanent spot in Test cricket. And unfortunately, I got diagnosed with cancer, but I didn't have a choice. I had to bounce back once the doctor said that, you know, you're going to live again. There is a chance of you playing again in the next 2-3 years. So I remember coming back and playing in 6 months, because sport gave me an opportunity and gave me the strength to bounce back again. The reason why I came back so quickly is because of my sport, because I believed that I can come and represent my country again. My sport has shown me how to deal with ups and downs, and that was something major in my career that I had to bounce back from. And the only reason why I think I could bounce back so quickly was because of my sport.
I mean, there's an important message to the youth as well at the moment, Yuvraj. I mean, something like cancer cannot prevent you from getting back on the field. A simple thing like, you know, not getting picked to the team is something minor compared to what you have been through. So what message can you give to the youth right now who are watching, like, you know, failing is just a small part in life?
Well, failures are going to make the best out of you. You got to believe in yourself, no matter what the world says or what their opinions are. As long as you believe in yourself and you believe that you can bounce back in life, and you have the will, and you have the support of the right people around you. I think the support of the right people is very important. The core group around you, the positivity that they bring in you is very important. And obviously, I had the wishes of the whole of the country, and which I felt was a big reason for me coming and playing and bouncing back.
Let's talk about an interesting part of your cricketing career, which everyone remembers. When you bludgeoned 6 sixers off the ground, off Stuart Broad at the 2007 World Cup. And I remember I was watching the clip a couple of days ago, and you had a bit of an exchange of words with Andrew Flintoff just at the previous over. So some people say this was what drove you to hammer these 6 balls over the boundary line.
I feel when you're playing sport, you are aggressive and you want to prove a point for your country. I just feel that can happen on the ground, and me and Andrew Flintoff have huge respect for each other because he's been one of the greatest all-rounders of the game, and aggression happens on the field, and I think it was just one of my day in sport, and will always be in the history.
Who have you looked up for inspiration as a young cricketer and even now?
When I was growing up, really enjoyed watching Tendulkar. I thought he was one of the best players of that era, and when I came and played under him in the team environment, I learned a lot of things from him: how to approach the game and how to work hard and how to work on your game. And when I was diagnosed, I read about Lance Armstrong and his recovery, how he recovered, and that really motivated me to come back.
What about the World Cup victory in 2011 against Sri Lanka? I think this was your first national World Cup victory, and you were quite proud of it, bringing World Cup victory to Sachin Tendulkar as well.
Second.
What was the emotion that you felt at the moment?
Something else you can't really express in words. Winning a World Cup means everything to you. As a young kid, when you're growing up, World Cup is like a dream come true. Australia winning 3 World Cups, it was very tough to beat these guys, but I think our players were at the peak of their career, and I think everybody wanted the World Cup before Sachin retired, so I think we all made a serious effort as a team and made our dream come true.
Yuvraj, my final few questions. You've achieved so much in life, victory after victory. The big question is, what now? What are you going to do now?
Well, I've lived, I've dared, inspired, and I want to keep inspiring the youth, keep inspiring the younger generation in times to come, help them to come out of their adversities, be a living example so that they can shine bright from my story.
One last message to the youth watching who are afraid to fail, who are afraid to take that one extra step.
Well, don't be afraid. What's going to happen is going to happen. What's in your destiny is going to happen. You don't know what is in store for you tomorrow, so don't be afraid to fail. I'm sure the more you fail, when the success comes to you, you will understand the power of it.
Well, thank you very much, Yuvraj Singh, for joining us on this special program on News First. Well, there you have it, Yuvraj Singh, one of India's finest cricketers. Well, we have more to come. I'm Shahan Jarampati. You've been watching News First.
That's huge. That is a biggie. It's out of here. 6 ball. Just a flick of the wrist. This is in the air again. Here's Longo. 3 in a row. It'd make a difference. It doesn't. It's 4 in a row. 5. Yes.
Would you believe this?
Last ball of the innings.